I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. They all failed her. They all failed Keimani Latigue. Body cam footage of suspect Darnell Jones being taken down by SWAT. Let me jump over to Facebook and welcome all my Facebook family and friends to this demonstration. So there's body cam footage that has been released that shows the suspect, Darnell Jones, right before he was taken down by SWAT. Let me read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Appreciate that super chat, Ms. Parker. Appreciate that super chat. Happy birthday, Shank Rock. Appreciate that super chat. Appreciate all of the happy birthday wishes. Today is my birthday. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to all my moderators. Let's just jump straight into this demonstration, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let's jump into this demonstration.
We're tracking new details in the death of Keimani Latigue. The full unedited body cam video as police find and shoot the man they say killed her. What it shows happened just before an officer pulled the trigger. Plus, we get answers from Toledo's top cop.
We were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community.
Now, after doing a lot of research, and when I say they all failed Keimani, not just the family failed Keimani. CPS. I was able to retrieve, and I don't know if y'all could see it real good. But I was able to retrieve a post from the social worker in Keimani's case by the name of Amy Wexler. Now, this is what Amy posted on Facebook. It's in the Facebook group. Amy is answering another person by the name of Cynthia Ann because they're questioning Amy. And she responded to Cynthia Ann. She says, the child had a family member that is or was the legal guardian. That's their responsibility, not ours. I felt that was very strange. I felt that it was very weird. I felt that it was very disrespectful. And at the same time, it was a clear sign that CPS doesn't care about these children. She says that's their responsibility, not ours. But we're going to come back to the CPS worker by the name of Amy. We're going to come back. But as I said, they fail these children. These children are failed all the way around the Monopoly board.
community.
The investigation into the abduction and murder of the 13-year-old girl continues. The full uncut interview with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley.
Political officials are going to have to step up. The local organizations, nonprofit and private, the businesses are also going to have to step up, because at this point, we should have been doing this a long, long time ago.
And that's so true. They should have been doing this a long time ago, but why does it have to take a tragedy such as this? Now, this has been happening for years, y'all. And in this case, we know that CPS was called out numerous times and they did nothing because I guess Amy, the caseworker, summed it up for us. They feel like it's not their responsibility. It's the family's responsibility. How do y'all feel about this? How do y'all feel about this? Is it the social worker's job? Is it their duty? Appreciate the happy birthday super chat, Yolanda. Appreciate the happy birthday super chat, Yolanda.
Just can't wait to make this happen and make it better for these kids out here.
The call for answers and justice continues as our community mourns the death of 13-year-old Keimani Latigue. Her family is remembering her life as she would have celebrated her 14th birthday this week, and her father remains in the hospital, shot by police and charged with killing her. Here's how the story has unfolded. Toledo police posted the alert that Keimani was missing on Tuesday, March 18th.
Let me just stop it right there, y'all. Why isn't the grandmother locked up? Why isn't the grandmother locked up? The grandmother allowed this to happen to this little girl. Now the grandmother is saying that the father is not her biological child. Darnell Jones was not Keimani's biological father. Well, if you knew that he wasn't her biological father, why was you allowing her? Why was you allowing him to come around? Why was you allowing her to go with him? And also, why didn't you better protect this little girl? Everybody wants to know, why isn't the grandmother locked up? Why isn't this grandmother locked up? Many people are saying, and it's allegedly, that she led the police to the abandoned house. I don't know if that's facts. You know, it's a lot of this, it's a lot of that that's out there. So I don't know how exactly the police knew that Keimani's body was in that abandoned house. But it's a lot surrounding the grandmother. And in Miss Parker's voice, Dumb Dorothy, it's a lot that's pointing to Dumb Dorothy.
It was just after 4 p.m. She was last reported at her grandmother's home on Elm Street in North Toledo. The next day, WTOL 11 spoke with the teen's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue. She's also Keimani's legal guardian. She said she came home from work Tuesday morning.
And there's also been said that Dumb Dorothy isn't even her legal guardian. Appreciate the cash donation, Sharon. Appreciate the cash donation, Sharon. And if anybody would like to bless me for my birthday, my cash app is $ERICMCINT. Appreciate the happy birthday cash donation, Sharon. But like I said, you know, what's really good with Dumb Dorothy?
found Keimani was missing. She called her school before making a report to TPD. By Friday, March 21st, family, friends, even strangers came out to North Toledo to search for Keimani. Her mother, Tiara Caston, was there from Cleveland. Keimani's dad, Darnell Jones, would be charged with abduction on Sunday, March 23rd. Court documents show he was the last person with her before she went missing.
That's a monster right there. That's a monster right there. Positive vibes wouldn't be positive vibes if she didn't roast me. Positive vibes says, will you take hair products as a gift? Sure, I'll take them as a gift. But this right here, let's how many of y'all believe that Darnell is her biological father? Drop a one in the chat if y'all believe that Darnell is her real father. Drop a two if you feel like he wasn't the real father. To me, they look just alike. They look just alike. They do look just alike. How could anybody, especially a father, but how could any man, how could anybody do what was done to Keimani? How could they do it? What was this about? You know, when you go to the length of cutting hands off, and what was really good? Was it that his DNA was up under her fingernails? Did she fight? Did she put up a fight? So the autopsy report is in, and the autopsy says that she was deceased at 12:19 p.m. 12:19 p.m. was the time of death. Now, did she try to fight? I mean, because when you think about it, that's some sick-ish. That's some sick-ish to cut anybody's hands off, but to cut that little girl's hands off. Appreciate that super chat, Nola.
Then on Monday, March 24th, police found a body inside a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. The Lucas County Coroner's Office would later identify the remains of those of 13-year-old Keimani Latigue. Her time of death was 12:19 p.m. Jones would be charged with murder that same day, and Columbus police tracked him to the city on Tuesday, March 25th. It was then that officers ended up shooting him and finding a gun at the scene. In a moment, we'll show you the unedited body cam video of this encounter. We do want to warn you, the video is graphic. There is profanity. You can see Columbus police identify Jones walking in the short north. They approach him. He says he wants to die, ignores police commands, appears to move his hand in his pocket, and then is shot.
Appreciate that super chat, Kim. Appreciate that super chat, Kim. Happy birthday. Appreciate that super chat. Now, when y'all hear it, he's going to tell the cops to kill him. The cops tell him, take your hands out your pocket or out your hoodie. And he tells the cops, kill me. He tells them, kill me. Later on, we find out that he didn't have a pow-pow or a knife or nothing like that. He had a walkie-talkie. Now, we want to know, whose walkie-talkie did he have? Where did he get a walkie-talkie from?
You're going to see two views, one from the officer who shot Jones, and then it switches to another responding officer whose body-worn camera better shows what happened next. Viewer discretion is advised.
Where am I? What's your name?
Kill me.
Dude, show me your fucking hands right now.
Me, bro.
Pull your fucking hand out of your. I swear to God, pull your.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Dennis in a second.
Don't move. He's got 33 right there. 33 in his hands. No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there's 33s right here. Don't you move or you're gonna get shot. Okay.
What was he doing with a walkie-talkie? What was he doing with a walkie-talkie? Make sure y'all keep that in mind. Make sure y'all keep that in mind. He had a walkie-talkie on him at the time police approached him. What was he doing with the walkie-talkie? Where did he get the walkie-talkie from?
All right. Got it. Yep. That's him. Somebody get on the main air. Get us some medics.
I'm working on it.
All right. On your belly.
All right. I got cuffs. There you go. Thank you, brother.
We'll get you help, okay?
I just want to die, bro.
No, I know, but we.
So we all hear him say, I just want to die. When the cops indicates to him that they're going to get him some help, he then responds, I just want to die. And of course, the cop says, no, we're going to get you some help. I'm sure he wants to die. I'm sure. Because what he done to Keimani Latigue, he's not going to be able to go through life knowing, because where he's going at, it's going to be hard for him physically, mentally, and spiritually. But he did indicate to the cops he just want to die. Now, I'm curious to know what Dumb Dorothy's next move is going to be.
We can't allow that.
I can't. Right. I don't want to live.
Get us some cruisers. Secure this scene.
Okay, I'm talking radio.
All right. Who fired?
I'm in the car.
He did too.
All right. You did? I did not. Okay. He did. Okay. You good?
All right.
You good? All right.
I know.
All right.
Listen to me. Listen, I got to roll you off. I got to get you up on your side, okay? I got to get you up on your side. I got you.
All right. Where you hit at, bro?
I don't know. All in my leg.
All in your leg.
He's all hit right here.
I know. He's hitting his arm once.
Oh, my God. Need a medic here now. Where's your
I know. They're coming, okay? We got him. He's hit once in the arm. All right.
He's hitting the side here.
Yep, you're hitting the side.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Hey, look. You know what's good about this?
What? Sit up, okay?
You're gonna be fine.
I can't move my leg.
I know.
This monster gonna have the audacity to say, did y'all hear him? This monster is going to have the audacity to say, I can imagine when you was taking the life of Keimani, I can imagine the screams. I can imagine the yells. But you didn't care. You didn't care nothing about her pain. So why should anybody care about your pain?
I know.
I think we're broke.
Where do you guys need us?
There you go. How's that?
They broke.
Okay.
I can't get up.
Okay. We're gonna leave you sit here like this. Take a deep breath.
Copy that.
Do me a favor. Take a deep breath for me, okay?
Hey, move your car. Block that road. You're on shell cases. Get that road blocked.
We
All right,
can't lay you down. Okay, you've
We're
got to
holding
stay
you
up. I'll hold you up. All right. You just relax. Lean back into there. There you go.
You're going to be fine.
Listen. Hey.
And as y'all could see, he shaved his head. As y'all could see, he shaved his head.
Nothing's ever that bad. All right.
It is.
Okay. Well.
The cop says to him, nothing is ever that bad. He responds back, it is. And in this case, this is one time that I will say I'm going to agree with Darnell because this is a bad case. And this is a bad situation that he's placed himself into. He knows it. He knows it. That's why he wants to die. Because he knows it's nothing else left for him. He knows this.
Darnell, right? Do you have anything else on you? Do you have any more guns? Yes.
Where's the guns at? Where's the other gun at?
I don't.
Darnell. Hey,
Sorry.
Darnell.
Do you have anything else on you?
Yeah, you said you had a gun.
Well, I don't. I think you just fading. I don't know. Nope. Just stay back, okay, please.
Stay back.
Hey. Okay. Okay. We're making good witnesses. You're fine, ma'am. You're fine.
We got to get him searched. So Matt's going to take him.
I know. Hey. Hey, you guys just go chill.
Somewhere else.
In one breath of me, of course, you all know, and you all have to read between the lines. One part of me is like, why they couldn't have, y'all know what I'm trying to say. But then another part is saying, I'm glad that they didn't, because with him being alive, he's able to, hopefully, he's able to give exactly why did he take this little girl's life. So in that aspect, I'm glad. But then in another aspect, I'm like, why they couldn't have, y'all know what I'm trying to say. But then in another aspect, I'm like, I'm glad that they didn't, because at least he'll be able to hopefully tell exactly why he did it and what took place. Salute to the chat. I do see the chat. I appreciate all of the happy birthday wishes. Salute to the chat. I'll get down there to the chat.
Hey, have that cruiser start getting scene tape.
Let the medic in. Step back.
They're fine. It's fine. Yeah, we need a cart. We need a cart.
Cart. I know. Stay with me, bro. Keep talking to me, guys.
Dave, 511. If anyone is listening at home, officer support.
Sit here, legs, arms.
So he was hit in his leg and arm. He was hit in his legs and arm.
Which way do you want his head?
Here.
Right there. Okay.
Up. You need him out of the cuffs?
Yeah, we're gonna need him out.
All right. We're gonna have to. Hey, listen. We're gonna roll you over one more time. All right. Gotta get those cuffs off you. See, relax.
Clean up. There you go. He's hitting the arm,
Leg, arm, and I believe left chest.
Okay.
And maybe he hit.
I get a good
left
search
chest.
on him.
I am.
Everything's got to come off. You taking him down enough in this? Yeah. All right. That's fine. Pull this off. All right.
Cut the cuff off.
Cut your gun.
You have to help us lift?
Yep.
Grab the one, grab the head. Down. We're down.
Hold on. Just stare at it. All right, I'm good. Hey, don't move your arm. I know it hurts. They're going to help you, okay?
I think you can shoot me in the head.
Well, we're not trying to hurt.
He said, why couldn't you shoot me in the head? He also claims that his arm hurts. Appreciate the happy birthday super chat, Tanya. Appreciate that happy birthday super chat, Tanya. But he's still wanting them to, wondering why they couldn't shoot him in the head. Appreciate the happy birthday, Tanya.
We're not trying to kill you. No, we're not going to take it off your arm, okay? They're going to cut it off in just a second.
Jones was due in court on weapons charges in Columbus, but did not appear because he remained in the hospital as of Thursday, March 27th. Now the call for justice continues. Rumors swirl on social media, and there may still be more questions than answers. WTOL 11's Silver Barker took the discussion to our city's top cop. She sat down with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley to separate fact from fiction.
So my first question for you, Chief Trenley, you know, there's been a lot. So let's kind of do like a timeline, and let's start with first question. Let's go back to when Keimani was first reported missing. You know, there was a report sent out, but is there a reason why there wasn't an Amber Alert? That's a lot of people's question.
Yeah. Good question. Good question. Why wasn't there an Amber Alert? So we're going to hear the chief answer that. We're going to find out what the chief says about why there wasn't an Amber Alert.
So when she first went missing, our Amber Alert requires specific criteria when and how we do our Amber Alerts. And that's kind of like a national standard. And so it did not meet that criteria because at that point, there was not any thought of there was a family kidnapping or family being involved or any foul play at that point. At this point.
Stop right there. What do you mean? We didn't feel like it was a family that may have kidnapped her. What do you mean? An Amber Alert. An Amber Alert is for a missing child. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. An Amber Alert is for a missing child. In some cases, when a child is missing, and this is some cases, a parent abducted the child or whatever, or maybe he's trying to say that the Amber Alert is only for when a non-custodian parent takes the child, if that's what he's trying to say. But I've never thought that that's what was the Amber Alert. I was always thought, and I always believed that an Amber Alert was for a missing child. Let's get back to line ass. I forgot what Miss Parker called her. But let's get back to this joker.
A lot of different stories about a missing 13-year-old that may or may not have ran away for different reasons. So at that time, we'd already interviewed all the family members and we were talking to everybody. So there was nothing that would have qualified for an Amber Alert or that actually an Amber Alert would have done for the investigation.
How do you know that an Amber Alert wouldn't have done nothing for the investigation? You know, sure, the Amber Alert could have done something for the investigation. Not unless y'all had some knowledge that she was already deceased. I'm just saying. An Amber Alert would definitely help.
What is the usual criteria for an Amber Alert, just so people know?
Yeah, so there's different things, but a lot of times, especially when it involves a family member, we need to have that we suspect a family member has kidnapped them and has run off with them.
And let me just say this. For what we know now, there was a family member that abducted her. So you're just putting your foot in your mouth. Okay, we can go with, well, you know, y'all, the Amber Alert is only for when a parent has kidnapped the child. All right. Let's stay right there. We knew when the father, we knew when Darnell gave his account on what took place. We knew right there Darnell was lying. Appreciate that cash donation, Tammy. Appreciate that cash donation, Tammy. We knew right there. So it wasn't an Amber Alert put in effect because lying ass right here says, well, it has to be, you know, when we know that it's family related, which is a lie, But now when it played out that a family member did abduct her. The mere fact that Darnell said that she called him and said that she was scared because it was an intruder or somebody, I can't remember. Y'all gonna have to refresh my memory. But I do know that Darnell said when he got there, he only stayed with her a few hours and then he left. What father? Knowing that the 13-year-old child is scared, what father is going to leave that 13-year-old child? So we already knew that Darnell had something. We already knew Darnell was suspect. Same way with Dumb Dorothy. We know Dumb Dorothy is just as guilty as Darnell.
That we have descriptions of cars or locations and stuff like that, something that we can provide. And for this type of case, it just did not meet that criteria.
Now, my second question for you, TPD received a tip. You guys received a tip about the body that was found in that house. That's how you guys first found out about it being there, correct?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, actually. Which tip?
You guys received.
Come on, man. I'm not sure what you're talking about. What tip? This dude right here, he ain't sure about nothing.
Received about the body being found on Miami Street in the house. There was a tip that you guys received, or was it anything in the report? It was mentioning that you guys were notified, and I believe it went to the detectives' work as well. There was communication and messaging through, was there a phone call or anything, or Crime Stoppers? Was there anything sent out? How did you guys find out about the body inside the house?
Through detective work, really. So, so through some interviews and some investigating. At this time, I can't disclose why or how.
What are you talking about? Let's backtrack it, y'all. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man?
Communication and messaging through, was there a phone call or anything, or Crime Stoppers? Was there anything sent out? How did you guys find out about the body inside the house?
Through detective work, really. So, so through some interviews and some investigating. At this time, I can't disclose why or how.
Could it been Dumb Dorothy? Now we're gonna come back to Dumb Dorothy, y'all, because allegedly Dumb Dorothy is the one that led them to the body of Keimani Latigue. Is he referring to Dumb Dorothy? What do y'all think? What are y'all thoughts? And I'm gonna jump down to the chat. Give me a minute, y'all.
Because it's still very pertinent to the investigation. And at this point, we're not ready to talk about that aspect of it. But yes, it was our detectives doing a great job interviewing and investigating and following up on some leads that got us to that location.
Now, going to the body, when it was reported that it was found in the house, when lots of people found out and it spread in the community, people showed up very soon right after that while you guys were there doing your work. There are a lot of people live streaming on their phones, showing and kind of just talking about it in general. There's a huge presence there. I mean, we saw it. I was there that day. Did that at all impact your guys' work there while you were doing that? Did it affect how you guys were doing? I mean, could you guys have done anything differently there if people weren't there, you know, yelling, shouting? What? No,
obviously, anytime you add a little bit of chaos to a scene, that makes it a little bit harder for us to do our job. But, you know, we're prepared for that. So we have officers that can contain the outer perimeter and make sure that no one gets in. And then our detectives, they're focused on their job. They're going to do their job, whether there's people watching or not. So they're still going to be able to do it. It's just the outside officers being involved more and trying to maintain, you know, as you just said, a very highly agitated scene for good reasons, right? But the reality is, it doesn't affect the investigation itself. It just makes it a little bit harder for the officers on the scene to maintain that perimeter.
Do you have any idea how many of your officers were out there that day?
I actually don't know how many we had deployed out there that day. I know we had a lot of detectives, roughly 10 to 12 detectives that were on scene. As far as the outer perimeter for the number of patrol officers on scene, I don't know that number.
Now, moving on to Darnell Jones, he's in the hospital currently, and that's where we're kind of at with that situation. But I know that yesterday you mentioned in an interview that you guys sent detectives down there for questioning. Has he confessed to anything? Has he confessed previously before then? What are you guys getting?
So we did send detectives down and interviewed him in his hospital room. We made progress there. So we have some things that we're going through at this point. Once we get all the information that he provided that we've gathered, we'll meet with the prosecutors. We'll walk through that timeline with the prosecutors and decide with their guidance on the charges that will be filed. And then at that point, we'll talk about what charges are going to be out there. We'll release that information. But right now, we did talk to him. We are moving forward. I would say we're in a pretty good spot investigatively anyways on moving forward with this case.
Speaking of charges, on Monday, we read in a report that he was charged with third-degree felony of abduction. At this point, what charges are we still looking at? Do you happen to know? Is that charge still there, and is a murder charge as well?
So as my understanding right now is the murder charge is added and the abduction charge is still there, but that's right now, those are the only charges that are out there. Obviously, as we work through all of the statements and all the leads that we have now, there may be additional charges.
Do you believe that Darnell acted alone, or is at the time right now, are you guys considering other suspects, or is there other people you guys are looking at?
We're always looking at the chance that there might be multiple people involved. I don't necessarily believe that or disbelieve that that's the case right now, but that is something that we will continue to run down through the investigations. There are statements that always conflict each other, and there's always kinds of things that need to be tied up in an investigation, and that's the phase we're in right now. So right now, we only have one person charged.
I know why you guys can't say what he told detectives yet. There was a lot of talk earlier about his statements not matching, which was said in a police report. There were a lot of inconsistent statements and stuff. The statement that he's given now, is it a bit clearer? You don't have to say the details of that. I know you guys are still working, but is it clear?
I think we have a much better understanding of what happened. By far a lot more understanding after we talked to him. But at that point, that's about as much detail as I can give you on our conversation with him.
Do you think that, hearing from the community, this is a case we've seen the social media very, very present with a lot of comments and sometimes speculation and misinterpretation, misinformation, a lot of that being spread out there in social media, people saying how he was even found, Do you guys wish maybe you would have communicated a little earlier about this case, or do you guys wish you would have had a press conference or something?
So there was nothing that we could have done in a press conference. We did a press release or a news release from the department, and our detective bureau did as well. And then our detective, our lieutenant in charge of the investigations, was on scene that day and actually gave an interview that day. There's nothing else that we could have done in a press conference. We gave out that information. We waited on the press release from the coroner. Those are different things that we do that give out details. A lot of times, and up until he was arrested, there wasn't a lot of information we could put out. And so at that point, a press conference is not really going to accomplish anything. We were giving out as much information as we could. Social media is going to be social media, and people are always going to speculate and run with their own theories. And unfortunately, we can't control that. But the reality is, most things you read on social media, especially early, probably aren't even true.
Speaking of that and social media, is there any rumors right now regarding this case that you want to dispel right now that you can think of, like, hey, this is the fact?
I can't think of it. Well, I can't think of anything out there on social media right now. I try to avoid it as much as I can. So I don't have anything really right now that I would say, hey, stop listening to that because it's not true. And really, it's probably too early for us to even address some of those issues.
There is a lot of things going on in this case and a lot of details and things being looked at. We know that you guys are still investigating, but in terms of how long you think you guys are getting closer to the answer and closer to a conclusion, how long do you think this is going to take or play out?
Unfortunately, that's very hard to speculate. There is a lot involved in this case. Obviously, we're talking about 2 different cities being involved. You know, we have a week of things that happened, right? So we are working the case as fast as we can. As I said before, I think we're in a really good place investigatively, and I think as soon as we can button everything up and run down every lead, last thing we want to do is be premature in our charges and or premature in saying this is the only suspect we have, we're good. We don't like to do that. We like to make sure we investigate everything out there, so when we do take this to trial, there is no room for doubt.
Well, we all hoping that you all are investigating dumb Dorothy. We all are hoping that one day soon you all will be locking dumb Dorothy up and charging dumb Dorothy with the unaliving of this baby. That's what we're hoping.
Speaking of that, you guys are reactionary, right? I mean, when there's trouble in the city, you guys are the ones called and you guys come in. But looking at this case and just looking in general, is there anything that the community can do with things like this or with situations like this that help prior to you guys having to come out and do something?
Oh, absolutely. So our community knows their neighborhood better than any police officer can possibly know it, right? So no matter how many hours we spend in the neighborhood, there's things that we will never hear or never see that other community members or family members are seeing. So if there's ever any doubt in anybody's minds about any, so let's take this case, right? So if you ever have any doubt that some child is being abused or something is just not right, then by all means notifying us and or notifying CSB and get people, the authorities involved early before it gets to this point. Because unfortunately with this case especially, once we were involved, it was already way too late for us.
I think my last question for you here is, the officers who responded to the scene and found the body, from what we've learned of the details, it might be a lot. And when we hear of cases like this of children involving children and children on the scene, that can be a lot to take in. Is there anything that you are doing for the officers right now to help them get through that, who were there on that scene?
We are. So over the last several years, we've really developed a wellness program that is kind of top notch. And we immediately have our peer support officers reach out to those officers. Sometimes, depending on the situation, we'll do debriefings and bring in professionals to come talk. Our wellness coordinator, Sergeant Welling, is always contacting them and offering up services and to see if there's anything we can do. As an officer, we all deal with trauma in different ways. Some people like to talk, some people don't. But we're always looking out for those warning signs to make sure that we don't need to intervene.
Let me jump down to the chat for a few, y'all. Let me jump down to the chat. Kimberly says, riders and rockers have facts. Yeah, shout out to Miss Parker and her riders. Shout out to Shank Rock and the Rock Squad. Shining Light says, they paying dumb Dorothy's witness protection even though she let them touch that baby. Hurricane says, yes, Antoinette. How did they discover the body? That's the $1 million question. How did they discover it? Who led them to her deceased body? Hashtag Naziah and Keimani. Hurricane says, this reporter interviewer girl is getting on my nerves. She's not really asking no serious questions. Alicia says, how about y'all listen to people and never have to be here? Y'all don't listen. Facts. Alicia says, I bet. Where were the grief counselors on that scene? Facts. Antoinette says, for who? The popo? Your officers suck. Shout out to Columbus officers. Yeah, the Columbus officers, they was on it. My man, they was on it. They was on it. Ms. Parker says, if you would like to show Shank Rock some birthday love, his cash app is $ERICMCINT. Hurricane says, who cares about their wellness crap? Juanita says, did y'all hear dumb Dorothy kids was once in the system? Parker says, let's go, Rock Squad and Riders. Parker says, La Lizzie, my sister. Almighty Stream says, dumb Dorothy gave the reporter a whole babbling confession about Keimani being groomed. She wasn't even asked about it, and she told a whole story because her guilt made her talk. Exactly. Salute, Squeak. How she know that she got groomed? How she know that she wasn't in the boys? How you know these things? And other things as well. Ms. Parker says she definitely did, but how did she know? Shaking my head. Salute, Kenya. Appreciate that, Squeak. Appreciate that. Happy birthday wish, Squeak. Juanita says, exactly.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to include at this time that you would like to mention about this case that I did not ask? Now's the time.
So the only thing I would add is, I'm extremely proud of our department. This case moved pretty quickly, and we were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community. There's nothing worse than a missing that's still missing, and there's that hope out there. So I think our officers did an outstanding job. And I'll say it again, I think the Columbus officers, when we contacted them and asked for assistance, they did an outstanding job as well. And, we have two good police departments that are coordinating and communicating and working together to get to a conclusion, at least on this case.
Thanks for joining us for this special presentation here on WTOL.
All right, y'all. A few more comments, and then we're going to wrap it up. Salute, Lady V. Appreciate the happy birthday wish. Antoinette says, now the grandmammy, a psychologist. Right. Kimberly says, not because of your department. Right. Appreciate the birthday wishes, Miss Minnie. Kimberly says, dumb Dorothy told a lot. Hurricane says, Ms. Parker, I'm waiting for your next live. Yeah, appreciate that. Happy birthday wish, Hurricane. But how about the social worker, y'all? I don't know if, I doubt if y'all could see it, but the social worker talking about, and the social worker name is Amy Wexler. Amy, A-M-Y, Wexler. W-E-X-L-E-R. Make sure y'all go Google it. Go on Facebook and go to the Justice for Keimani Latigue group on Facebook. And y'all is going to see the message that the social worker left. She's in there arguing with, some of the Facebook people because they question them. Why did y'all drop the ball on this little girl? Now, the caseworker, Amy Wexler, she says the child had a family member that was the legal guardian. That's their responsibility, not ours. Well, it is y'all responsibility. Y'all got a job to do. So for any social worker, for any caseworker to say that it's not their job to look after the children, to look after the welfare for these children, it is your job. That's what you get paid for. And I do believe that they were called out numerous times. Social service, Department of Social Service, Child Protected was called out numerous times. Appreciate the happy birthday super chat, Almighty. Appreciate that, Almighty. So we are seeing now that in the year 2025, none of our children are safe. None of our children are safe in the year 2025. They're not safe with their fathers. They're not safe with their mothers. They're not safe with their grandmothers. Now, I haven't heard anything about the grandfathers as far as neglecting these children, but it seems like the children aren't safe anymore. And that's when you know just how bad off we are as a people. That's how you know as a society just how bad off we are. Because I'm sure we all can remember it was a time when children were off limits. You might had a case like this. It was never this severe, but you may have had maybe 2 or 3 cases like this. Children was abducted. You know, I'm not going to say that this never happened, but it was very, very few, because that was something that we just didn't do. We didn't play, we didn't tolerate, we didn't do nothing to children. But for the social worker, so we have the social worker, we have Department of Children Protective Service. They failed her. Her mother failed her. Her father failed her. Her grandmother failed her. The godmother of the mother failed her. All of these people has failed her. And that's why she's no longer with us today. They all failed Keimani Latigue. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad, y'all. I'm not planning on being on here long because y'all know that it is my birthday. But when I seen this, the footage, when I seen the body cam footage, I said, let me bring the body cam footage to the people and get the people, because I know y'all could get this information from anywhere. This is not the only platform. Me and Miss Parker's platform are not the only platforms where y'all could get this breaking news and this information from. But I just know that me and Miss Parker, we run our platforms different from most people. We actually give the subscribers a place to speak. We read the comments. And not only do we read the comments of the subscribers, we do allow the subscribers to come up on the panel and speak. So I knew that you all definitely would want to be able to give y'all input on this and be able to have y'all comments read. Hurricane says, so true, Shank. Kimberly says, the daughter told that they were in the system. Dumb Dorothy ain't been ish for a long time. Juanita says, Kimberly, Miss Parker, she definitely needs to be in jail. My spirit telling me she set this all up, because if he was grooming her, why she didn't step in, and why would she allow him to continue to? Facts. Facts. Kenya says, Lady V, because everybody bows were tied together. Juanita says, come to her house. Kimberly says she hated that baby. Yeah, you could see her nasty disposition. The dumb Dorothy, the grandmother, got a nasty disposition. Natasha says, Miss Parker, and asked to speak to Miss Ma'am at that because she needs to tell us something. It's sickening. Oh, you know I am. Throw up some pink and green hearts. Throw up some pink and green hearts for Keimani Latigue. Miss Parker facts, and it's sad. I'm here for it. Miss Minnie says, true, but Miss Parker, and you are the truth. Appreciate you, Miss Minnie. Another family member pimping their children, grandchildren out. Thank you, Shank. You and Miss Parker bring facts. Appreciate you, Kimberly. Kenya says, I don't want to be on them other platforms. I kindly decline. Not my style, not my flavor. I'll wait on y'all in 2. Appreciate that, Kenya. Shout out to 2. Almighty says, we appreciate y'all. And we appreciate y'all. Appreciate the birthday wishes, Shelly. Appreciate the birthday wishes, Shelly. And once again, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Salute New York City girl. Salute New York City girl. Throw up those pink and green hearts. I appreciate the time you and Ms. Parker have took out to be live today per dedication. Appreciate you, Kenya. And we will see y'all on the next demonstration. I will leave the chat running for a few, and y'all can hang around. Tammy says, dumb Dorothy was definitely jealous of her granddaughter. Juanita said, Ms. Parker, her attitude sucked. She was going in hard on the reporter, and then she dismissed her when asked they quit. Yeah, because she said, next question. Can we hear the next question? I was like, golly, all right. Salute, Raisha. Salute, Raisha. All right, y'all. I will leave the chat running. Salute, and we will see y'all. I see you, New York City girl. New York City girl says, that's grandmother body language is screaming she was in on what happened to that baby. A lot of us think that same way, New York City girl. I think we all feel that way. I think we all feel the same way you feel, New York City girl. I see you, Natalie. Natalie says, social media gonna solve the crime. Exactly. We love you both, Shank and Ms. Parker, and we love y'all. Salute everybody. Y'all can hang around. I will leave the chat running. Salute everybody, and we will see y'all on the next demonstration. Salute everybody. I'd like to place an order. Yeah. Hey, let me get a chicken box and a half and half. All right, good looking out. I'd like to place an order. Yeah. Hey, let me get a chicken box and a half and half. All right, good looking out. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright. Younger females like older men. So my smoothie is going to consist of a chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. But I don't want to do this no more, Miss Parker.
What? You don't want to do this shit no more, nigga?
You're not listening to me, Miss Parker. And you know, with the demonstration that I've done, we gotta agree to disagree.
The fuck you thought? We was going back to the mud with this shit? Huh? It's part of life for you. It's part of the pussy for me.
All right, Miss Parker.
Wait. Why is it so dark in here? I can't feel my legs. Why can't I feel my arms? What's happening?
Dice, I need you, man.
Don't call my real phone with that bullshit, my nigga.
I need to get out of town, man.
Goddamn, dog.
Yeah, everything's shut down. Factory is closed. Everything.